Good morning, all. I'm honored to welcome all of you to today's webinar titled Protecting Your Pharma Innovations for COVID-19. I would like to take this opportunity and thank all of you for taking out time on a weekend to attend the webinar. We are really grateful to you. I'm sure that at the end of this webinar, there will be some very good takeaways for each one of us. Before we get to the subject, I am hoping that each one of you and your loved ones are safe and sound during this pandemic. Please take care and stay safe. These days of lockdown are presenting a lot of opportunities for transformation. Personally, I am getting to experience life with a different perspective, trying to change a lot of things in my life, shifting priorities. In all, we are embracing the new normal. And this, my friends, is a theme for a series of webinars Seclor has planned over the next couple of weeks. Today, we are going to discuss an important aspect of business for the pharma sector, intellectual property, and how to safeguard intellectual property during the pandemic. Before we start the webinar, let me inform all of you that we will be running Q&A session at the end of this webinar. And we have enabled the chat session for this reason. So you can see the chat in the window that you have. So pop in your questions there, and just in case you miss anything, don't worry. We will be sharing the recording of the session with each one of you at the end of the webinar. I would like to start the webinar by formally introducing myself. I am Harshvardhan Lale, and I take care of the customer success practice for Seclor. My team's responsibility is to ensure that the product is successful at the customer premise. CSMs are the customers' advocates internal to Seclor. All our existing accounts have a CSM, and I'm sure you are in touch with your respective CSMs. I have the great honor of introducing to the audience a great individual who is going to share his views, real-life experience with us. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Radhakrishnan G. An industry veteran, Mr. Radhakrishnan comes with 35 years of experience in the technology space, of which 25 years have been in the pharma industry. Until recently, Mr. Radhakrishnan was the CIO of India's leading biotech company based in Bangalore, from where he retired a couple of months ago. He has a proven track record of enabling cost-effective organizational evolution by designing scalable blueprints and leveraging dynamic trends in technology to meet strategic business needs. He has strategized and led several successful data-centric security initiatives at the organization that he has worked for. He will share his thoughts with us, which will be followed by a live discussion between Seclor's co-founder and CTO, Mr. Abhijit Tannu, and Mr. Radhakrishnan. We will wrap the session with a round of Q&A as mentioned before. Now, without wasting any further time, I would like to invite Mr. Radhakrishnan to share his views. Please welcome Mr. Radhakrishnan. Sir, over to you.
Good morning, Harsh. Thanks, Harsh. And good morning. Good morning, Abhijit. Good morning, friends. So it's really an honor for me to be part of this session. So thanks to the Seclor team. So I know this is a difficult time which is faced by each and every one of us. And, managing the work and managing the home and without going out, it's a big task. And people have been, some kind of frustration is bringing in people because of, the holidays. Today being a Saturday and you have been asked to attend a webinar. So, maybe some other meetings also, because people, I saw some messages in the beginning of this lockdown, wherein it says that, okay, today is Saturday, please, or, today is holiday, please don't open your computer and sit in front of it. Because people have started using their time optimally in addressing, the concerns, and then, they just want to work effectively. Okay, and the time limitations and the barrier is not there. There is no need for somebody to say that, okay, oh no, I'm at home, I'm I'm outside, something like that, because everything is locked down, so you don't have any place to go. You are basically locked in the house. Okay, and as Harsh mentioned, I've been working in this industry for last 35 years, and I have retired from a pharma company couple of months back, and currently I'm doing consultancy work for some of the startup companies. Okay, with that I will leave to Abhijit.
Sure. Thanks.
So
Thanks, Mr. Radhakrishnan, and thanks for your time. So let me start with, as you said, I mean, this is a very different kind of environment, right? And as the COVID-19 hit everybody, and I think almost everybody was taken by surprise, and the effects of this lockdown are still kind of panning out, right? But let me start with your own organization. How did it impact your organization, and what are the kind of how did you react to this? And most importantly, as a CIO, what were your top concerns? Uh,
no, so to give you the perspective, so I'm not currently the current organizations where I've been consulting as a IT advisor. So most of them have you know adopted to the work from home culture very fast, and because they are the startup companies, they had the ability to endorse new things. There are no legacy which was carried forward, so it was very easy for them to adopt to the changing times. But when I talk to my colleagues, ex-colleagues, or friends in the industry, they have told me that okay, they have faced a lot of challenges because of the various constraints they have it. And pharma industry specifically, it's a highly regulated and uh, controlled industry. So there are challenges in providing all information without any controls, and there are regulatory requirements or the statutory requirements which have to be met. So being addressing all those things in the initial stages, it was bit of a challenge, but I heard everybody has come out winners, maybe in the first week or two, and they are all now comfortable performing their activities remotely.
Right, yeah. So the initial reaction, I'm sure, in like most organizations and including many pharma companies, was that of panic, and everybody was trying to scramble around to get their basic infrastructure in place, so that they enable work from home. But and many processes had to be bypassed or had to be changed overnight to kind of enable this. But as the organizations are settling in this new way of working, what do you think would be the key challenges or the top priorities for pharma companies going forward? And like you mentioned, they are also one of the highly regulated industry. So what would be the key priorities for these companies as they're settling into the new way of working?
Yeah, so research has to continue because we need to fight COVID, and one of the main um, activity is to find a medicine for the COVID, and for that the research work has to continue, and research can continue only if they have the lab facility. So to be accessible for the labs is one of the critical aspect which has to be addressed, and the support for them to work from various centers and then getting the information on right time, the availability of the information is very critical for them, and protecting their research work is also very critical. So the data flow analysis has to be done carefully and then addressed to ensure that, okay, there are no unwanted access or untoward incidents which is happening for their hard work.
Right, right. So it's a very difficult challenge of kind of enabling people to share data and maybe make it available while they're working from home, but at the same time you have to also make sure that you're not violating any of the compliance norms and the privacy and security concerns related to your IP. I mean, I was just talking to one of the CIOs of a large bank, and they are kind of forced to think of security strategy as well as their infrastructure strategy, because they are kind of investing in a lot of perimeter-centric security, like data loss prevention to meet PCI DSS kind of compliance. But in the new way of working, the data is anyways has to go to people's laptops, home computers, and so on. So, is there a similar challenge that you see in pharma companies also, and you think companies will have to kind of think differently about their IT and security strategy going forward?
Yeah, definitely, because pharma companies have the traditional way of working. Most of them, using, the paper-based systems, or they are in the process of migrating from, the paper-based system to the digital system. So what happens is the physical presence for various activities are, very much required, and addressing overnight that, the transition is a big challenge. So now they need to share the files or they need to share the documents via the email without losing the security. So one of the major requirement. So so we need to find ways how to go about it. So there are instances where we have expanded our VDI capability. So the virtual desktops and some of the cases the people have introduced, either they had already in place or they have introduced the virtual desktop operations so that people can work from home with their PCs, because providing the PCs to every individual is also a challenge. So we need to meet some of them might have their own devices, and some of them may have the company provided devices. So the company provided devices we can enable with a VPN, but when it comes to the personally owned machines, the challenge will be the data download which happens to the personal devices. Company owned devices might come with all the data leakage prevention tools or AMP, all those kind of security measures. So to address, people have moved to VDI. They realize the potential. So, to be frank, the previous organization where I was working, we had already implemented both these technologies, and we were providing the rights to limited number of people. Now the base might have expanded to large pool of people to address the work from home requirements.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So are you also kind of exposing some of your data repositories so that people can access it from outside because they need to get access to these documents, or maybe they're stored in network shares or SharePoint or what have you?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So what happens is when people are working from outside, when they are within the network, it's easy for them to have all the shares configured and then access the data from various resources. But when they are outside, it's difficult. So that's the reason why we provided either VPN or the VDI solution. So VDI, what happens is the virtual desktop, which connects, it's like a, the previously what you call it as dumb terminals. So your terminal becomes a dumb, device just for inputting and, seeing the data. But rest of it happens on the back end, and that all those processes you can access everything, and the security is built in such a way that okay, you cannot transfer any data from the network share to your personal device.
Uh-huh.
Okay, or
Right.
copy your screen in like that. And when it comes to VPN, definitely the rest of the controls are within the machines which are being used by them. That will be either owned by the company. Mostly they're owned by the company. So they have all the required softwares to prevent all the data losses. Now there are other challenges, like people will have to share with maybe sometimes with third parties, or maybe with within the organization people who doesn't have all these facilities. So that's where the protection like Seclore or the IRM solutions will come into play. And one classic example could be this was majority of the companies will be having the performance appraisal process running in the company, and maybe the managers will have to look at the appraisal files and then finish their ratings and salary increments. So how do we share without compromising on the security? How do we ensure that okay, this file doesn't get into somebody else's hand, or somebody else's doesn't have access to this file even though you have sent it to the concerned person, right? So
Yeah.
those areas, I felt that okay, Seclore had the potential, and we have been using it for the last 3 years, more than 3 years, for Seclore for sharing these files, especially with for the salary increments, and it has been a good reaction from the people who have got the files, or the people who are performing the activities, because they
Right.
feel more comfortable, because they knows that okay, other than them nobody else is having the access for those files, even if they leave it
Right.
open the device.
Right. Right. So for I mean, you mentioned about VDI, but I think I mean it does take some time to set up a VDI infrastructure if somebody or organizations who do not have it already. So what could be the other ways or fastest ways of enabling this work from home while taking care of the compliance challenges or the data security challenges?
So if see VDI, yes, you are right, the setting up the VDI is not that easy, even though now there are some cloud-based providers who say that okay, the just within a matter of 2 days or 3 days they can make it up and running for about 100 plus clients. But the demand for those people were also very high, and another challenge was that okay, the infrastructure for those, that was also another challenge. So in
Uh-huh.
such scenarios, we have to open up your the access from outside with the restrictions which we can enforce, maybe by keeping protecting the files, ensuring that okay, this information cannot be accessed, or the information lies with that person only for a specific period of time, and it doesn't have future you can control the access from any time, from anywhere,
Right, absolutely. And
and you can
and just so sorry, go ahead.
sorry. No, the monitoring of the access also can be, is another feature wherein you can be assured that okay, there are no unauthorized access which is happening.
Right, absolutely. And just for everybody's benefit, Seclore is already offering connectors which will automatically help you protect your data residing in various repositories as well as emails, and it's available for free to kind of help companies to tide over this kind of COVID challenge that they are currently facing. So if any of you are interested, please visit our websites, and we will be happy to help you out. Mr. Radhakrishnan, I mean, there are, sorry.
So before that, Abhijit, can I add one more line?
Sure, sure.
Can I put a comment? Because I forgot to mention that, okay, because your integration with, the SharePoint and OneDrive has really, given the advantage for people to share the files using, OneDrive or SharePoint. Definitely there is IRM solution, but, that is again, it's it's slightly different from what you are providing. And your integration with the DLP solutions, specifically the Forcepoint integration, it's actually paying out very well.
That's great to hear. Thanks a lot. Dr. Radhakrishnan, there are many companies who are kind of adopting this new normal in a big way, right? I mean, TCS announced that they are going to allow more than 75% of their workforce to work from home. Even Facebook and Google announced that they are going to let their people work from home till 2021. Do you see that pharma companies I mean, this new normal is kind of changing the way the pharma companies operate going forward? Is that how do you see it will be impacting in the long run for the pharma companies?
Definitely, because see, all other technology companies are taking advantage of the remote connection and working from home. But pharma companies, the challenge is that, okay, there are manufacturing process, there are quality process, and there are R&D process. And these are processes which requires a kind of setup which cannot be shifted. So one of the major challenge could be, limit the number of people and operate efficiently. So the rest of the corporate staff, maybe they can work from home, they can perform their activities. Their, the day-to-day operations can be achieved using, those, even if they are remotely working. But the other people who have to be there, they may have to think of different ways of maybe, looking at some robotic operations for some of the things, some of the operations, and controlling from remotely so that the physical presence can be reduced.
Got it.
And
Got
achieve
it. Yeah.
more qualitative and quantitative productivity.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can tell you from my own experience, and we have a lot of people at Seclore who, I mean, normally were working from office, are now working from home, and many of them have gone to their hometowns, and they are enjoying best of both worlds. They are being at their hometown, and at the same time, they're working remotely and as efficiently. So they suddenly realize that they can achieve best of both worlds. So I don't know whether when the lockdown lifts up, whether they're going to be back in the office. But yeah, I think it is kind of a opportunity for a lot of new way of thinking. But I'm sure it is going to also make things more challenging for CIOs who are going to make the infrastructure available, like things like, for example, making robotics available as a way of operating things, and then you have to also obviously worry about securing how those accesses are kind of governed and controlled.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a good the question, because there are mixed response from people. Some of them say that, okay, work from home has, increased their productivity, but, lifted the, the environment, or, that the privacy of the people. So many of them feel, see, if you look at it, overall, the traffic is reduced, the environment is, non-polluted. There is a lot of, we can hear a lot of birds, guys, in the morning, the sweet voices of the birds, which was never, heard before. Nowadays, you can hear it, but we can't continue working like that. We need to have, the atmosphere where, we need to have some discipline. Now there are, see, I normally, get ready and then be in front of the computer from morning till evening. So everybody may not be able to do that kind of an activity, because you cannot make a small office within the house. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's true.
those are some of the challenges. But I think majority of the people have managed well, and they have taken it in the right sense, and hope to see them back in offices. Because even yesterday, one of the the startup company where I'm consulting, the CEO was telling that, okay, from Monday onwards we might start from office, so please be prepared for it. So as if, we are saying that, okay, now the vacation period is over.
Over.
It was like summer vacation for kids. So the employees also had the summer vacation.
Yeah, but in fact,
And of course,
many
technology.
of the people. Sorry, go ahead.
No, the technology is going to play a big role, and definitely, the IT department or the team will have a big stake in the overall operations.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, Harsh, maybe we can open up for questions if there are any questions which have been posted.
So yes, Abhijit, I already have a couple of questions, and I think the first question would be for Radha sir, and this is how do you think COVID has impacted pharma supply chains?
So the recent survey which was conducted, and there was a news that, okay, there was a degrowth of 12% because of, the supply chain, the logistics and distribution issues. Definitely, the complete lockdown has, some impact, but it's going to be a temporary period. And we will, there are essential services which are still running, so we need to have certain categories exempted, and then be prepared for such supply constraints.
Okay, and it's
Are
interesting.
there any external dependencies? I mean, in pharma sector, like dependencies on China, for example, or specific countries, which will have to kind of, maybe we'll have to change our strategy for sourcing some of the materials.
There are some dependencies, but which can be overcome, which we can definitely overcome, but immediate could be a, challenge. So there has to be ways, we have to work different ways, and then, like, other companies who have manufacturing facilities in China, they are looking at bringing it outside of China to see that, okay, they will not be impacted by concentrating on one particular country or one particular area.
So Radha sir, how will this also benefit the R&D sector in pharma? I'm sure a lot of research is also happening in places like China. I mean, we know that there are controversial statements being made about the origin of COVID and all of it. But how will this entire COVID thing really benefit the R&D sector in India for pharma particularly?
There's a lot of scope for R&D, and many players are really working hard to find out the medicine for COVID. And this is definitely an advantage for India. India has a lot of talent, and India can bring in a lot of innovations and bring in new medicines for to the market. And we have been providing services to regulated markets without compromising on any quality or any other aspects. So
So
this is a great opportunity for Indian scientists to
right,
tap in
right.
and then
So this whole initiative that Prime Minister announced on being Atmanirbhar, right? Do you think that is going to give a lot of impetus to this, having indigenous R&D in this sector and more kind of funds being made available for that?
all these views, what I'm making, it is my own personal views. So it's not being related to any of the organizations or any of this one. So I just want to make that disclaimer. So the Atmanirbhar and other announcements are very good, but the infrastructure also has to be improved. So it was a good initiative, Make in India, by some time back, and that has really paid some mileage. So that initiative has to continue, and then we have to bring in. But only thing is, our challenges with respect to the various authorities getting permissions and other areas needs to be addressed. Otherwise, we will not be able to succeed. The majority of these, our talent pool is working abroad basically because of, the reasons, the kind of infrastructure or the kind of facilities which are available here, and the kind of money which needs to be pumped in. Okay.
Got it.
So that needs to come in. Then, we have great talents, but we need to utilize.
Yeah,
Sure.
I agree with that. I agree. So, Abhijit, there is a next question which is actually for you as the co-founder of and CTO of Seclor. The question is, COVID has made people and organizations gear up and innovate. And so, what is Seclor innovating that can be very helpful to the pharma industry?
Oh, that's a very good question. So one of the things, I mean, we at Seclor actually we cater to various different industry segments, and we talk to a variety of customers. So one of the things that we have seen as a common challenge which has come or which has been brought out by many of our customers is the challenge of securing their data repositories, right? And as many organizations had to almost overnight expose their data repositories to people outside, either through VPN or otherwise, and they want to figure out what are the fastest way of making this infrastructure available while maintaining the security and compliance, right? So one of the things that we are working very aggressively on is building these kind of connectors. So like Radha sir just mentioned, we recently released our connector for the whole O365 suite, which basically allows you to automatically protect information in O365 suite, which is stored on your SharePoint or OneDrive, and apply specific controls. We also have integrations with your email system, which can automatically protect mails as they flow through your mail systems, both outgoing as well as incoming mail. So if you can, if there are mechanisms that you already have through DLP or whatever, which can detect any kind of confidential information, Seclor can automatically protect that. So we have built connectors with various DLP systems, with various email systems, which can automatically protect information as it's moving within or outside of your organization.
Yeah, Abhijit, I think we're also doing a lot in the classification space, which is one of the key requirements for the pharma sector. So I think there's a lot that Seclot is doing to really help the pharma sector in that. Radha sir, coming to you,
So
there
the
is
data,
one very, sorry?
no, the data classification tool which you are integrating with the DLP,
Yeah.
it's actually, very good automatic classification which happens. It's actually giving a good relief to the, both management and, the IT.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that. So, Radha sir, there is one very interesting question, and I'm sure everybody wants to know the answer, which is very difficult to. What could be the solution to prevent future disruptions? Is there a way to really control these kind of future disruptions, and can people really proactively gear up to take care of these?
So we talked about, disaster recoveries and then, some kind of business continuity plans and, various activities. But these are going to work if it is going to be contained in one particular area or one particular site or, something like that. This is something, which is worldwide. And we never expected this kind of a pandemic to happen. And it's difficult to say, but it's a good lesson which we have learned, and we are all now geared up to take any task, any incidents which are going to come up, something like this. I hope nothing should come up, but I pray for that. But at the same time, we have to be prepared also. Now that this has given a good lesson to us, so we need to be prepared, because we talked about disasters like the tremor or the earthquake or flood or those kind of activities. We had issues, Spanish flu and Ebola and all those things, but these were contained in one particular area. It was not that widespread like COVID. COVID has literally brought down to a standstill.
Very true. So there is one last question which everybody is hoping that the solution comes out of India. And the question to you, sir, is with your experience of the pharma industry, what's the likelihood of getting the COVID-19 vaccine or drug from India? I know it's a tricky question.
It's a difficult question. I told you that, as I mentioned earlier, there are good talents available in India, and we are confident that, we should be able to bring out our own medicine at the early stage. Everybody is working on the same, but, we should be able to get it, is what my gut feeling. And we need to support those scientists by providing all required information.
Everybody here is hoping that India comes up with the vaccine, and it can help boost the economy as well. So I'm sure that would mean trillions of dollars for the company whoever comes up with that. So people are doing it.
Definitely, whoever will be the millionaires or billionaires or trillionaires kind of thing.
Thanks a lot really for your insights. It was really a great session to have. I would now like to call upon Gautam for the vote of thanks. Gautam, over to you.
Thanks, Harsh. Thank you, Mr. Radhakrishnan. I think that was great insights from you. Some key takeaways from the session I'll quickly just summarize. So you touched upon some vital aspects on regulatory compliance requirements in the sector. I think that is food for thought for everyone. Around protection of intellectual property, data-centric security, which has taken center stage in these troubled times, when a remote working culture has actually become, the new normal. We discussed on the infrastructural changes and how they can be addressed, along with some interesting use cases that you brought out. And of course, the pros and cons of this entire new setup is something we'll need to learn to deal with and move forward. So thank you for some great brainstorming in all of this, and I'm sure all of us have some food for thought to take back. To our esteemed audience, ladies and gentlemen, as we bring this webinar to a close, I'd like to thank each one of you for joining this over a weekend. As was mentioned in the beginning, I'm sure it's taken a lot to come on to it. Many of you represent the pharma, healthcare, medical research, or life science sector. Our salute to the industry. This is at the forefront of the fight against corona. We feel a deep sense of gratitude and appreciation for all the corona warriors who are working tirelessly to fight this COVID. Please stay safe and have a wonderful weekend, relaxed weekend ahead. Thank you to thanks Abhijit. Thank you to the organizers. I think we can conclude the session now.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Nice day.
Settler.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for the audience. Okay.